Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shah being the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now, when you go and you look at Acts 10, where Peter, the head apostle, is talking about the preaching word and who is to be preached to, you get these Christians always bringing this up, and they don't read the whole passage, and they don't um, understand what was going on during the time uh, of the apostles. Because first of all, Peter had already uh, in Acts 2 talked about these Gentiles that was being brought in, and these Gentiles was coming from all over the world and different from different nations, but these was Gentiles from the tribe of Judah. Now, Cornelius, he was a different type of Gentile because he was coming from a different area, even though he was coming right from what they call Galilee. He was right from that same area. And this is what most Christians don't understand, that Cornelius lived in Caesarea. Caesarea was right by um, Nazareth. It was in Samaria. It was by Galilee, right above Jerusalem and Bethlehem. Um, it was right in the heart of Israel, the land of Israel. He didn't come from Greece, Italy, Rome, wherever you want to say that these other people was coming from. He didn't come from them. And when you look at the map, you can clearly see these things. But they run with it because this is what Christianity and the so-called white man is pushing. Now let's go into Acts real quick. This on my screen. Acts 10. I'm not gonna make this a long video. Just want to address this real quick. Acts 10. I'm gonna start at 28. Well, you know what? Let's start at Cornelius, verse 1 and 2. It says, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius. So Caesarea is in Israel. See, he was in the land of Israel. He was a centurion of the band called the Italian band. Now, centurion is he was a police officer. And because the Romans had the Israelites in slavery, it's like America was populated by the Native Americans. And the so-called white man came and slaughtered the Native Americans and set up a police state. Same thing will happen in the land of Israel. See, the so-called white man slaughtered the Israelites and put them in submission during the time of the Maccabees. That's why they took the Maccabees out, because they wanted to hide the history. During the Greeks, in the book of Maccabees, show how the Greeks came and slaughtered the Israelites and put them in submission. Now look at verse 2. It says, he was a devout man, one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to people and prayed to God always. So that devout man is saying that this man was keeping the laws. He was already a certified Israelite. See, he was devoted to keeping the laws of Moses. He wasn't a pagan, worshiping pagan gods, living amongst the other nations, doing what they was doing. He was in Israel, going to the temple. What in the world is wrong with these people? He was in Israel, man, living as an Israelite. He just was under the so-called white man, and he was working at the police. See, he just was a part of the police department, just like you got Native Americans here now. They peoples used to all rule this land, but now the white man take over. He go and get a job as the police officer. Does that make him not a Native American? See, but this is the mind state of these Christians. They don't want to look at where the man was from. They just saying, oh, they didn't say he was an Israelite. It say Italian band. That's what he was called. He was a part of a band that was called that. It still was in Israel, man, and had a house in Israel land, because the Romans set up a garrison in other people's land, and they let the people run their own land. They didn't just come in there and take over the land. They set up a garrison in a police state with soldiers walking around policing the land, but the people still own their houses in the land. It wasn't a bunch of Greeks moving to Israel like they did. Like, it wasn't a bunch of so-called white men moving to Israel, occupying all the land. That's not what they was doing. See, and this is what the people act like what was going on. Like they had done just moved to Israel and took over the whole land, and just a small amount of Israelites roaming around doing their thing. No, it was a garrison, a band of Romans had done took over, and one of the Israelites was a part of their band because he come from Greece. I mean, the Greeks was the Israelites had them blended into the Greeks during the time of the Greeks. So it was people that was living amongst the Greeks, and they didn't even know they was Israelites, because this is 400 years after the Greeks had took over, when the Romans had finally conquered the Greeks and took over whatever the Greeks was ruling. But they always the so-called white man. But look what Peter said in 28. He said, and he said unto them, ye know how that it is it's an unlawful thing. Now, this is when Yahweh supposedly told Peter in Matthew 28, he told Peter to go and preach to all the nation. Okay? He told them, whosoever believe on the Lord. See? In John 3:16. He told them, what else he told them? What the Christians want to quote. He told them, preach to all nations. John 3:16, whosoever. Acts 2, even Peter quoted in Acts 2 about whosoever call on the name of the Lord. So why is Peter saying, you know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or to come unto one of another nation? He would not say that if Cornelius was an what you call it, uh if Cornelius was a person of a like a so-called Roman, he not doing that. But see, the thing about it is, what the Christians don't understand is, a Jew is not uh just a Jew. When they say a man that is a Jew, that wasn't just talking about uh all Israelites. That's talking about Benjamin, Judah, and Levi that was living in the land of Israel. See, all the other lands had been banished, and it was unlawful for them to talk to them. That's why he had to tell them this. Let's go to Matthew 10 and 5. He said, these 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into go not in the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. See, the cities that was in Samaria, a lot of these cities was with the northern kingdom and the other tribes that had been banished away from the Israelites, because they had done started worshiping other gods. Now let's go back to Acts and get what was being said after this. So he let it be known, the three tribes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they didn't keep company with none of these other tribes or the so-called white men and the Chinese and all these other people. Okay. Then when you go to 34, this is what the Jehovah Witness and the other Christians go to pushing. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of person, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is acceptable with him. They stop it right there. Bomb. They don't let you hear nothing else. But the key verse is 36. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel. See, he sent that to the children of Israel. That lets you know that when you go to verse 35, you need to look at that word. Now let's go and get that word real quick. Let me hit my Google. Okay. Let's say Acts. What was that? 35. Got a Bible. Now let's go on to this Acts 35. Okay. Acts 10:35. Watch what this thing say now. And see, this what these Christians don't want to come out. That's why we got to go into it. Where you at? Come on, let's get it now. So, look at what it say here. Nation. See, that's why they put this word in there, that word nation. But look at what the word can mean. Look at what the word can mean. Outline of Bible usage. Okay. It says a multitude, whether a man or beast, associated with living together, a company, a troop, a multitude of individuals of the same nature and genius or genes, the human family, a tribe. See, it can mean a tribe of what do you say, of any tribe. Let's go back to the verse now. He said, in every tribe he that feareth him. See, it ain't got to mean no nation. It can mean tribe. But in every tribe he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is acceptable to him. Because the Jews was only Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And let's get that real quick. Let me go back to my Bible real quick. I keep saying this. Let's show how these three tribes was the only ones there. Look at verse 5. It says, those rose up, the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites. Those are the people that was in Jerusalem when Nebuchadnezzar and the Persians sent them back to that land and told them, y'all three can go back there. The other tribe, the 10 tribes, had been sent to a whole nother area, and they wasn't sent back to Jerusalem. The main 3 tribes that was there, being acceptable to the whoever was sitting in Moses' seat, was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. See, in the New Testament, the Jews is not all Israelites. That's why the Gentiles is the other 10 tribes and those people that was Hellenized or turned into Greeks. This is who they was preaching to. And Cornelius was a certified Israelite. But I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, Hashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.